Okay.
Okay, I think we are good to go. Selamat siang, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome everyone to the fifth LunchTalk, Faculty of Education, Universitas Islam International Indonesia, or Triple IU. We are pleased today. We are happy to have Pak Abdul Rahman, PhD, as our speaker today. In this very wonderful session, we're going to have a discussion about the topic that Pak Abdul Rahman already prepared. I keep on admitting people coming in. All right. So a brief ideas about this LunchTalk first. So this LunchTalk is held by the Faculty of Education of Triple IU. So this program actually aimed to discuss issues in education that's recently happened or that is ongoing around, whether it's particularly in Indonesia or all over the world, as if it's possible. And by inviting, we can say expert. We can invite experts, whether they are from the faculty member of Triple IU itself or from our colleagues in a different institution. And today is the fifth LunchTalk, and we have Pak Abdul Rahman already here. Pak Abdul Rahman will talk about the topic of issues and challenges in teacher professional development, a way forward. But before we come to the main agenda for today, I would like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Professor Nina Nurmila, PhD, to have an opening remark. Bu Nina Nurmila, time is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Destina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy and very grateful that today we will have Dr. Abdul Rahman as the speaker for our LunchTalk. Ya. Salam kenal lebih lanjut ya Pak. Happy to see you here in this forum after we met. This is the second time we met online. Hopefully, one day we can meet in person. Ya.
Inshallah.
We met about a month ago in the Australia Award selection process. Our colleague, Dr. Samsul Rijal, the head of the MA study program, suggested to have you in our LunchTalk, and he saw us your publication, yeah. And we are happy to have you today as an expert of education, and will deliver you talk under the title of Issues and Challenges in Teacher Professional Development, Way Forward. Yeah. So the topic fit very well, actually, sequentially, without us planning it. With the previous lecture delivered by Dr. Cynthia Revina, which was about teacher policies and teacher quality in Indonesia. So today we are talking again about the teacher professional development. Yeah, and it seems to be that reading from your title, you have been very optimistic, yeah, about the teacher policies and quality in Indonesia. And here I would like also to acknowledge the presence of our faculty members at the Faculty of Education. I saw Ibu Dr. Tatiwardi, Dr. Charina, hope you are well today. And of course, the moderator, Dr. Destina, and then Dr. Bambang Sumintono, Dr. Lukmanul Hakim, and then our students and other participants. And I saw also Professor Rahayu Kartadinata. She is my fellow workers as lectures at the SIM Faculty of Education and Teacher Training at the State Islamic University UIN Bandung. Yeah. So as Ibu Destina mentioned earlier, this is the this LunchTalk is the fifth LunchTalk. Yeah, we have it regularly this year, beginning February, and previously the speakers at the LunchTalk were our lectures. Yeah. like Dr. Lukmanul Hakim, who spoke for the first time, in the first lunch talk about the group decision, and then the second in March, Dr. Charina Ayu Rizkianti gave a lecture on empathy, and this is her expertise, on as a psychologist on empathy. And then in April, we had Dr. Destina, whose expertise is in math and has spoken about developing Indonesian students' spatial ability to support mathematical learning. And last month, as I mentioned, that we had Dr. Cynthia Revina, who had the talk on teacher policies and teacher quality in Indonesia. And well, today it is very smooth going to the next topic about issues and challenges in teacher professional development. And the good thing is that our lunch talk is being recorded, and therefore I can listen more attentively to your speech again and again if I need it in my spare time. And because at the same time I have also to teach, so my apology if I only passively listen or have double listening. I think that's all from me as my welcoming remark to you, Dr. Abdul Rahman. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Destina and all the participants here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Ibu Nina, for the opening remarks. Now we are coming into our main agenda. We're going to have the speech from Papa Abdul Rahman, PhD. So give a brief opening a little bit that last what Bu Nina mentioned earlier, that last lunch talk is already talk about teachers policy and also teachers quality in Indonesia, and it's really timely now that Pak Abdul Rahman going to bring up the things about how we nurture the teachers actually. The training that we're going to give, or known as professional development for our teachers. There are many efforts already done by the governments, by many parties, like from even not from non-government also, lots of things, and Pak Rahman will talk about that and then discuss in more specific because this is his expertise, of course. And before we come to the talk, I'm going to read first the curriculum vitae of Pak Abdul Rahman, so everyone will aware Pak Abdul Rahman background, very amazing in the specific field of education, especially professional development of teachers. So Pak Abdul Rahman graduate from Universitas Negeri Makassar, where now he also appointed as a lecturer there in 2000. 2000 is your initial starting or the graduation?
Yep.
Okay.
Undergraduate.
So, yeah, so as a bachelor in English education, and then Pak Abdul Rahman hold her master degree from Flinders University in Adelaide, South Australia. And the PhD then moved to the New South Wales University of Wollongong. He hold PhD in education. So at the moment, Pak Abdul Rahman positioned as the lecturer in Universitas Negeri Makassar, program studi pendidikan guru sekolah dasar. And at Universitas Negeri Makassar as well, Pak Abdul Rahman also become the secretary of Pusat Kerjasama Pengembangan dan Inovasi Pendidikan. Back then, and I think it's still active by now, Pak Abdul Rahman also the founder of the Syllabus Global Act. So this is an NGO that offers global community opportunities to engage and help local communities. It's really, maybe any of you here interested to join the NGO itself. Besides that, Pak Abdul Rahman also really working a lot in the field of education, become a teachers, a lecturer, and then also as a program developer and also consultant. So it's all about education fields. And in addition, he has lots of publication in the field of education, particularly in teachers professional development. I'm not going to read every single of that because there's lots of things, and those who really focusing or interested in professional development, please check Papa Abdul Rahman publication, and the recent one that maybe people interested is talking about investigating school condition for teachers' professional learning and development in Indonesia's teacher development. So it's really timely and really fit with the topic today, and that's recently just released in 2022 February. So please check. And I think I talk too much. That's the background, and it's really, we get the expert on the field of education, professional development for teachers. So without further ado, Pak Abdul Rahman, please, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me check the sound. So, wait. Is it clear enough? Clear. Is it clear enough? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So first, I'd like to say it's my honor to be here among all the my esteemed fellows here, especially for Ibu Tati. Nice to meet you again, Ibu Tati. Thank you very much for having me today. So I'm yours now, okay? And then also Ibu Nina, okay? Thank you very much. I think you mentioned, so the one that you mentioned is one of my friends that let's say he is my friend in crime when we are in Australia. So that's why when the interview with the Australia Award, I said that I have a conflict interest with this guy. So so don't let me interview him. Okay, but because of him, so we can have a connection. So I think this is the very thing, and then I'm very grateful to connect with you all today. Okay, thank you everyone for having me today here. So let me start. Allow me to share I have something to share with you all here. So, okay. Can you see it there now?
Yes, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been mentioned a couple of times by Ibu. So the topic is about issues and challenges in teacher professional development. And I think we are all aware that there are big issues in Indonesia, especially in terms of how can we help our teachers to improve themselves. And then when we ask about how can we help them, so teacher professional development is the key. But believe me, teacher professional development in Indonesia is like a black hole for me. Yeah, it's a black hole. So the first issue, of course, as a big country. Sorry. So let me. So the topic of my talk today, we'll go through first is the contextual issues and challenges in teacher professional development, and then coming after that, I'll try to propose some conceptual orientation in teacher professional development, and the third and the fourth is coming from my own work, where mostly I use complex system in my research to study teacher professional development in Indonesia. So like I said, that we are a big country. When we are talking about a big country, number always matters. So this is it. From the Dapodik, maybe you're aware about Dapodik. So in the Dapodik, according to Dapodik, in June we have like 3.3 million. So the first issue and the challenge must be the number. Must be the number, whether the number of trainings are made available for every teachers. So is the opportunities for teachers to improve themselves is enough for them? Okay, that's the first question. And then because our teachers, as you know that, our teachers live in a very different context. Let's say some live in the big cities, some live behind the mountains. So the issue of equality, this quality is always the challenge, because I can tell you that I met some teachers and then they said that this is the first time I got training after 15 or 20 years of my career as a teacher. 15, 20 years in my career as a teacher. So the issue of equality is a big one also. Okay, and the second one is not only whether we can provide enough, let's say, training, because that's that's the term that's mostly known in Indonesia, training. Okay, even if teacher professional development, training is only one of the form or type of teacher professional development, is the impact of TVD. Many times, not only policymakers, the school leaders complain about they have these teachers coming from the training and then they don't see any impact, or if there is impact, it's only superficial, it's only in terms of for example the RPP, the change from, for example, now RPP is changing to module ajar, and then they say, yeah, they know that there's something happened, so there's a change of the name of RPP into module ajar, so it's very superficial. And the second one is about sustainability of the impact. So the impact is not sustainable. Maybe it's just in my observation, because most the teacher training for the teachers are made available by the government, and then it's only in effect while the project is active, and then after the project everything's back to normal, not new normal. Okay, and the third, maybe the impact only at the level of pro forma. It's more oriented to the administration. Okay, the change is more in the administration, not into the practice of teachers in the classroom itself. So that's the first issue in my observation and in my study. And all of this is said by the political economy of teacher professional development. When I say political economy of teacher professional development, we talk about the policy, and then I don't want to go into that policy because, like Ibu Destina mentioned, that one of the speaker before of this lunch talks talking about the policy. Okay, so let me move to what cause of this challenge, of these issues and challenge. For me, we are approaching teacher professional development in linear like this, in linear perspective like this. We think that once the teachers participate in training, okay, and then they will learn from the training. And after that, consequently, they will improve their practice, their instructional practices, and then it's gonna improve teacher student learning. So it's linear, causal, and deterministic. So I think that's the thing that we need fix. We need to fix first. So in my for example, even in Gatsby's models and Desimond's models, sorry. Okay, so the model apply the way of thinking, that professional development, and then changes in teacher classroom practice and changes in student learning outcome. Even in the Desimond models, they have Desimond proposed a different one, that it's only after teachers change their belief, and then they see change in the instruction, then improve students. So while here in the Gatsby model, change in belief is come at last. Okay, so they have to change after learning from the training, and Gatsby assumed that teacher will automatically change their classroom practices. Okay, while Desimond say that no, it should be the belief, it should be change the belief first, it should check the belief first, and then they will change the instruction, and at the end it will improve student learning. Part of the problem is like how we answer these questions. What is our view of teacher professional development? What is TPD? So for me, we need to go back and see how do we see or how we perceive what is teacher professional development. So here I observed that there are four school of thought in seeing what is TPD. First, group who see teacher professional development as an activities. So when we see teacher professional as an activities, so then we will focus our question on what is the type, forms, or models that are empirically effective for teachers. So we will come with that. This type of one specific type of teacher professional development will be better than others, and then we will still looking for the best one. So here there is a discussion about the traditional form or reform of teacher professional development. So in this school of thought, some will say that training is not productive anymore in this time. So we need to move from training, like usual training or seminar or workshop, into, like, for example, school-based activity, or like a teacher as a researcher. So they will propose things like that. And behind this thought, so there is we will understand how they see the knowledge creation. So that the knowledge creation is through transmission. So teachers at this school of thought is only the user of knowledge. So they need to wait. So they need to wait for events, for activities for them, so that they can learn from that. Okay, so expert generated knowledge and then imparted by teacher educators. In our case, for example, in the training, and then the teachers will learn from that. So this is also linear causal deterministic. Okay, and the second one, the school of thought or group of scholars who see teacher professional development as a process. Okay, so when we focus on this one, that TPD is a process, so the main question for this is how teacher professional development can be best implemented, whether through for example, in Indonesia, most of the training are mandated that teachers need to follow. For example, if there is a new curriculum, and then there will be training for the curriculum, and then the teachers are mandated for that one. Okay, so, or whether it should be through collaboration, that teacher will collaborate among themselves, or it is through self-initiated. So this is the contested question here. And then what is the knowledge creation here is construction. So the teacher must construct the knowledge that they get from any teacher professional development process. So, but still pretty much the same assumption, that knowledge skills from outsider, and then experience or process by teachers, and as a result, teacher will improve their practice. Or and then the third one, scholar who see teacher professional development as a processes and activities. So it's more like the question of the combination of the first and the second one. What is and how teacher professional development can be best implemented. So in this group, people or researchers will focus on trying to formulate effective features of teacher professional development. They will come with set of effective features that when you design teacher professional development is, for example, the duration you have to think about the duration, and then whether it is related to the specific and then bigger reform in your country or in your place, and on the collaboration base, and etc. And the assumption of knowledge creation is transmission, and construction. That the knowledge skills, okay, it depends on the activities. The activities will determine the processes. Yeah. So, for example, let's take one form of teacher professional development. For example, lesson study. So the lesson study will have when teachers, for example, participate in the lesson study, the process will be different when the teachers participate, for example, in a workshop or in a training. Okay, but pretty much still the same, that this assume a causal linear assumption that once teachers get involved in teacher professional development, and then teachers will improve, their practice will improve or enhance. The fourth one, this is it what I subscribe to this school of thought, who sees teacher professional development as a complex system. So in this school of thought, when we assume or we think that teacher professional development is a complex system, so our main question is, in what ways factors and actors in teacher professional development interacts to enable learning. And then in this school of thought, they see teacher professional development as a reciprocal, as situated, embedded, and then what we are looking for actually, not the result, but the right combination. What is the right combination so that we can help teachers to learn? So the knowledge creation here is coming from the perspective of emergence, so that everything will emerge from the interaction, from the communication between the actors and factors in the teacher professional development. And this is it for example. And the second question is actually, what is the teacher professional development entails? So I adopted this one from Clark and Hollingsworth in 2002, saying that a teacher professional development contains 4 components. There is an access, there is a participation, there is experimentation, there is application. So in my study, teacher professional development mainly focus on the access and participation. Whether access means that whether we have enough, whether we have enough teacher professional development activities for teachers. So the focus is on the types, forms, or model. What is the good model? What is the good types of teacher professional development that we can provide for the teachers? And then the participation. And then this is the big issue here, because in most government report, they equate participation with teacher participation in teacher professional development with the improvement of students' learning. Where it is very difficult actually to have this is the big challenge in the field of teacher professional development, to design a study where we can have like a to draw a firm conclusion that certain types of teacher professional development will improve teachers in this way, and then in turn will improve learners or students in this way. That's the hardest one. Okay, so let me continue. And in Indonesia, I think in my study we miss some of this one, the experimentation and then application process. So we stop to this one, to the participation. So teachers going to attend a training, but we don't have any like a follow-up activities or process to see how teacher experiments what they learn from the training they just attended, let alone to see whether it is used or it is implemented by the teachers in the classroom. So these two are is like a big field for any researchers if they want to see or to conduct research in teacher professional development. And then here down the things, for example, coming to the around here is like a theory underlying, for example, the access of teacher professional developments, and then the theory of types or form or models of teacher professional developments. We will discuss things like that. And then here in the participation theories like adult learning or cognition or andragogy, that this will underlie the research. And then most of the research in the experimentation and application activity is about the theory of changes or learning organization or school effectiveness, things like that. So hopefully to this stage, I can assure you, or I can assure you that teacher professional development doesn't occur in individual, linear, causal, deterministic manner. So it's more like it happens in a multidimensional, reciprocal, cyclical, and nested manner. So maybe I can, for example, this is from Ralph and Hollingsworth interconnected model. As you can see here, he proposes a model of teacher professional development, not like in Gasky or in decimal models. So it contains of multi actors, multi factors, and they interact not in a linear manner. Okay, it's more like cyclical and then mobile and also reciprocal. And this one, so this is mine actually. So in my study in 2016, I use this framework. Okay, where it's informed by the work of David Sumar in 2006, that proposing the teacher learning. They say teacher learning as a complex system. Now, think I'll move on to two examples of my work where I conceive teacher professional development as a complex system. So the first one, in 2014, I wrote this paper, and this is not a research paper actually. It's more like a conceptual paper. Okay, it's called Transcending Teacher Professional Development from Determinism to Complexity. So two frameworks that guide me in this paper. The first one, that teacher professional development is a system, but also one element or a subsystem. So teacher professional development is system itself, but is also one element or a big system. So training, whatever trainings happen in Indonesia, for me, it is a system in itself, but also a part of a big system. For example, so if the training is initiated, for example, by the minister, so it's going to be affected by the system that works in the Ministry of Education. For example, if the training is provided, for example, by USAID, by AUSAID, okay, and then there is a big system that will drive how that kind of training will be delivered in Indonesia, for example. And the second one, that in teacher professional development, there are multiple agents, actors, and factors interact in many different ways. So direct causal influences connection cannot be specified or determined. So meaning this is a non-linear system. My idea, for example, here, I take the example again about lesson study, because in 2000, I think in 2000, lesson study is very popular, and like every organization, for example, universities and also organizations that deliver teacher trainings, they try to bring this lesson study to Indonesia. But what is the effectiveness of lesson study in Indonesia is not as effective where it comes from. For example, in Japan. Why? Because of the actors and factors. When I say actors, just teachers, school leaders, and then I say factors. If, for example, policy, all these things accumulate whether to hinder or to promote learning. So it's very simplistic to assume that once we use lesson study, and then teacher will learn effectively, and then they will get something to improve their practice. That is the point. Okay, and the second one, from the complex system theory, also there's what we call feedback and sensitivity to initial condition. So I argue that yes, maybe we can control some, okay, some aspect of teacher professional development, but others cannot. Why? Because it's related, for example, to the history. Like the history of our teacher professional development is teachers are accustomed with the mandated style. Mandated style means that they will wait for training invitation to their school, okay, and then the schools will send teachers to whoever organization provide training. So it's very related to the history. Okay? So back in 1970s, the model of teacher professional development is like teacher from the district is trained at the provincial level, and then after that they will be selected to be trained in the national level, and then at the national level they become masters that will return to the region to train their fellow teachers. Okay, and then teachers will always wait for the kind of style. So when for examples now with the Sekolah Penggerak, where Sekolah Penggerak try to empower teachers still always say, so what is the juknis? Okay, we are waiting for the juknis, things like that. So the things like that, it happens in Indonesia. So it's really sensitive to the initial condition of teacher professional development in Indonesia. And then the last one about emergent and self-organization. See, this is one of the concept in what's that system theory. Okay, that providing teacher professional development to all teachers in the same way will not yield the same outcomes for every teachers. Okay, because actually every agent in a system, okay, if we see teacher professional development as a systems, they have their own, for example, they have their own beliefs, they have their own way of work. For example, at school, in every schools, we aware that we have what we call a school culture, and school culture from one school to another school is very different, and then it really affects the process and the result of teacher professional development. And I think, okay, so this is another one from my own work where my conceptual work is informed by complex systems. So this is restrictive versus facilitative teacher professional development, a case from 3 public schools in Indonesia. So here, a multiple case study. I conduct a multiple case study from case F, case B, and case C, and I come up with a category of restrictive versus facilitative teacher professional development, where what makes teacher professional development restrictive or facilitative is really depends on the interaction, on the culture, on the structures of each the schools. Even, for example, they experience the same types or form of teacher professional development. The result will be very different from one school to another school. So my point to this to the end of this talk is that it is simplistic to equate teacher participation in teacher professional development with teacher learning, let alone improve practices and students improve learning. So, and then the second one, typically is more often than not a linear process, but a cyclical and recursive one. And so, if you are the researchers, what should we focus on when we study teacher professional development? For me, what we need to see is the emerged patterns. So what's the best purpose in every case or in every instance. So we look for emerged patterns. And the last one, powerful teacher process development cannot be determined, not directed, but rather emerges. Means that we need to empower. We need to empower more teachers rather than imposing some things for them to do at their schools. Okay, I think that's the key points that show you here. That's conclude my talk today. Hopefully, we can have some discussion about this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Abdul Rahman, for a very insightful presentation. We have lots of ideas, and maybe each of you already have the thought about TPD in Indonesia if you experience. Pak Abdul Rahman already put the key points there. And I think for me, myself, I also have a takeaway that it's really, we can no longer put the TPD as something like very what is that, straightforward, that it is what is given, but it's looking at the context and what's the situation, and look at what is the pattern there, and then see what we can work with what you call as the reform type of TPD. But yeah, that's from my perspective, and maybe all of you have a different perspective, also have lots of questions, burning question in head, or just want to put your opinion. So let's open the session for discussion. I think we have Pak Bambang raise hand already. We can just do one by one, so we can have Bu Wijarwadi also next. So Pak Bambang first maybe, yeah. So we can get one like that, Pak Abdul Rahman, or you want to get all the questions?
I'm okay one by one.
All right, awesome. Okay, Pak Bambang.
Right. Okay. Terima kasih Bu Sestina. Okay, Pak Rahman, thank you very much for the presentation, giving me the new information about your latest research. Right. So I try to refer back to my own experience as a teacher. Okay. So long time ago, I am a chemistry teacher in secondary school. Right. So the point is that when the government are designing some kind of teachers professional development, okay, there's a mismatch between the intention and the practicality, the detail of the activity, right? So I give you a simple, what we call example. For example, the government want that the teachers to do the student active learning, right? So it's very simple, student active learning. But the way they teach but the way they train and teach teacher is one-way communication. So the teachers don't know what to do in the field if the kind of situation like that, right? So from time to time when I was a teacher, so just get frustrated if want to expect more, okay, from the program about teachers professional development, right? So when I have a opportunity like you study at Flinders and then at the postgraduate level, so I reflect back. So it is actually we don't have enough money, we don't have enough what we call as network, we don't create even what we call as nothing left after we do so big spend with so much money in terms of doing teachers professional development in 1980s, in 1990s, when we have the opportunity like what we call autonomy, okay, autonomy daerah, okay, educational decentralization, and as you mentioned, so teachers tend to ask something very practical. What is it for me? Okay, what is it that? So if I refer back to that, so what is your prediction in the future when the government now are creating like program sekolah penggerak, guru penggerak, organisasi penggerak, that kind of penggerak thing? is it really reasonable to predict that something is going to change for the good? Oke, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Pak Bambang. And then I used to be a teacher too, and I experienced the same thing. Okay, now in the current situations, the teacher professional development is actually the TPD itself is moving forward. Okay, it's moving forward. So the things that whoever create, for example, or design that di sekolah penggerak, guru penggerak, organisasi penggerak, in my observation, they don't have enough understandings of what is the situation like at the school or at the teachers level. Okay, so all the forms or types of teacher professional development activities in sekolah penggerak or teacher penggerak, they are all I mean, coming from the perspective of, let's say, reform TVD. There's like collaboration there. They have like collaboration, and then try to empower the teachers. And there is a kind of self-reflection, especially reflection. So they emphasize more in the how teachers can reflect as a learner. But the things, reflection is not something that teachers is used to. So it's a very new field for reflection. Like you say, that teachers tend to say, okay, just show me how we can do this. Okay, show me how we can do this. But where actually the aim of this teacher professional development, then how can teachers reflect on their practice, and then they come up with their, what we call their own knowledge. Okay, emerge from their everyday practices. Teachers will still tend to wait like this one. So there is a knowledge from outside. Okay, so you trainer teach me how to, and then I will learn from it. So we still see we are trapped. Teachers are trapped with this kind of what's that one? Let's say paradigm. That if it is training, that must be all the things in the trainings is let's say is an expert knowledge. As an expert knowledge, and then it must be useful. It must be applicable. But when come to this one, wait, I'm sorry. The problem is here, like I said before, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, so we focus on teachers focus on this one in the participation style. So teachers lack of support to have a kind of experimentation and application of whatever knowledge that they gain from the training. So I think in terms of the current situations, it's a moment to shake the teacher's belief of what is teacher professional development actually. So I don't want to say that teachers will not learn anything from that one, but I think this is a moment to shake their belief of what is actually teacher professional development is for themselves. Are you waiting for someone to tell you something to do, or you try something and then you see how it works, and then you come up with with for example, with new knowledge, or with your own knowledge of how it works, at least things like that.
Okay, want to go to the next question, Pak?
Okay, I'm hoping that my answer satisfies Pak Bambang as my teacher.
Okay, Pak Bambang, if you still have anything to convey, maybe after this session can be with a different session with Pak
Sure,
Rahman.
no problem.
Because we have lots of questions from other participants. Pak Wijarwadi, silakan Pak, please, time is yours.
Thank you so much for the time, and I would like to start by appreciating the presentation, and it's very insightful presentation from Dr. Abdul Rahman. And salam kenal Pak Abdul Rahman. My name is Wendy Wijarwadi, and I also want to say hi to Bu Tati because I'm her student when I was first study at I think English department, the PBI Jakarta 2003. So I have, I think, two questions for today's. So number one, when the presenter mentioned about the linear system, I think it's very interesting because then I remember a very popular term like an apple a day keeps your doctor away. So if you eat an apple a day, you will be healthy. So it's like what happened with our TPD. If teacher come to training, then when they come back, then they will totally transform into somebody new, and it really happened. So I studied, let's say there is an activities, there is a program from our government, from MORA and MOEC. They still put teacher participations as the key indicator for they call it PKB, pengembangan kompetensi berkelanjutan. Even though the name is PKB and they have like MGMP revitalization, when I check the document, when I check the website, the indicator is simple: number of teachers participating in the training. So it's like what presenter said. And also I read from SDG indicator. SDG indicator, they also still mention number of teacher from lower secondary or upper secondary teacher participated in at least organized training, pedagogical training. So I think it's still like our common practice, our common belief when people mention about professional development. Oh, it's training. So it's simply training. So my question is like, what do you think about it? It's really because of years of the process of teacher development, like you say, where is the SOP, where is the guideline, or because of what? Because sometimes I feel curious why they put the term berkelanjutan, which is like continuous, or maybe you use reform TPD, but it's simply the key indicator is number of
participation.
Yes, and even I work with friends from P4TK, I think P4TK Kemendikbud. When I read the report, yearly report from P4TK, the indicator is the same: number of teachers participated in the training, and even they evaluate the training using Kirkpatrick evaluation, and mostly just level 1, level 2, which is, do you like the training, or do you like the food, do you like the speaker? And when the participant give higher score, oh, it's success and it's a good program, and simply like that. So I just wanna know Dr. Abdul Rahman opinion, like why still happen even when I mentioned in 2022 PKB, but still it should be reformed TPD, but it's still clinic individual TPD. And number two, Dr. Abdul Rahman also mentioned about collaboration, about a lesson study, like reform TPDs, like to engage teacher more to learn with themselves. I mean, like teacher collaborating with one another. With the condition as our teachers, as you mentioned earlier, is it possible for our, not possible, I mean, what is the, how to say, what is the projection, or maybe what's your opinion when we allow teacher more space to work with one another, like to reflect and to learn, or we have program Guru Penggerak. Like, so what do you think? Like, is it really the solution for at least for now, or it still will come back to the old circle, which is like, what is the guideline? Where is this SOP? Which is very interesting information, Pak. I mean, wow. I mean, it's really happening, and I don't know what happened, because I used to be a teacher too in the past.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and thank you so much, Pak. And I hope I can connect with you personally after this.
Okay. Wait. Yep.
Yeah, maybe if I can have like maybe your email or something, I can.
Okay.
I really
Sure.
want to connect and to learn more from you about this topic.
Sure.
Thank you
Sure.
so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you. So Wijawadi, it happens to me also back in 2000, maybe 2010. When I see reports not only from Mora or from Minister of Education, but also from like a report from what's that ADB, and also USAID or OUSAID, and then the indicators of successfulness of, say, particular training is the number of participation, and then you read that one. And so in my opinions, okay, when you're asking whether the current PKB or the newest one, like Sekolah Penggerak, just like Pak Sumintono also mentioned, Pak Bambang also mentioned about that one. So I think for me it's a moment, okay, because if you see from the complexity theory, so we cannot determine at the beginning some things that we deliver. For example, training to the teachers. Okay, we cannot predict what is the outcome, or we cannot determine what is gonna be the outcome. What we can do is to watch the pattern, okay, to see the patterns, what patterns that will empower, for example, or will change the teachers. So if you want to do research with me, for example, we can look into what process of this, for example, of this PKB that, let's say, deliver something good. Let's say things like that. Okay, and then we focus on that pattern, and then we try to amplify that pattern into the next training, for example, or when we create a new training for the teachers. So like I say in my presentation, that as a researcher, what we need to do is to try to find the pattern. So it's gonna be a good chance for us, for example, while this program of Sekolah Penggerak or Guru Penggerak, to see the pattern. So what is the pattern that emerged from this process? So because even if, for example, Sekolah Penggerak come in with, for example, collaboration activities, not all collaboration is effective, or not all collaboration is gonna change the teachers, because it can be what scholars say contrived collaboration. Contrived collaboration means that they collaborate because they are asked to collaborate, but actually collaboration must work on voluntary base actually. Okay, and on the connection base, not someone asks you to collaborate, or you are forced to collaborate. Yeah, even at things they come in with the terms that it's based on the teachers' collaboration. No. So for me now, it's a good chance to see what's the patterns, like, and then which patterns will help teachers to learn. So there is a chance to learn something from this, I think. Okay, that's my personal answer actually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Next we have Bu Tati for next question. Please, Bu Tati.
Thank you, Bu Destina. Thank you, Pak Abdul Rahman. I learned a lot. I think a lot of information that I got from you, but maybe this is something my own reflection. Yeah, my training was in teacher learning, so we are in teacher education. A lot of involving how teachers should learn. Yeah, the curriculum should be implemented in teacher education. My question probably reflecting on my my own education and also how the curriculum being structured in a teacher education. In the past 10 years, 5 years ago, it was the way you describe about the paradigms from the activities and the processes, and then you are now proposing a complex theory. For me, it's quite interesting because you see the progression. Yeah, now it seems to me like there is a shift in the curriculum of teacher education. And then I remember like 10 years ago, perhaps it was the paradigm of processes of learning. Yeah, for teachers. It can be seen through a lot of emphasis on teacher reflection, a lot of they are seeing their values and then being more critical about their own maybe biases and their own past learning. In order for them to teach students in the future, they have to unlearn things that probably are deficient, yeah, probably damaging for future students. So a lot of reflectivity activities in the classroom for future teachers. That's what I learned when I was in teacher education that time. So I'm sure the paradigm you are proposing of the complex theory will be, I'm assuming there will be a mainstream, yeah, in the teacher education curriculum. The way teacher education or future teacher be prepared, or teacher professional development being structured. And I'm just wondering, the trends, and then how the school of education around the world would subscribe to this paradigm of put in place, yeah, more like a concrete. I would like to see, perhaps that's gonna be the trend. They were very interesting because indeed, teacher education or teacher learning is very complex. Promoting them to becoming more reflective is one thing, but it is only one area. Yeah, we need to do more about equal justice and equity and stuff like that. So there's more socio-cultural issue involved, yeah, in teacher learning. So that's actually basically just for me to convey my ideas. And the second one, it was very interesting because I would like to hear more about your publication in 2019 about the 3 cases from 3 public schools, yeah, Pak. You can talk more actually, yeah, and then you not to mention your most recent publication. You haven't had a chance to talk about it, so it's very interesting. But I'm gonna stop it right there. So thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If I can add something to that reflection. So the scholars who subscribes to the complex systems, they will always emphasize on the interaction of actors or factors. So whether this is in a higher education context or in teacher process development, the main things that we need to see, and then we need to address later on, is how actually one actors or one factors interact with another's. And then only by seeing, again, only by seeing the patterns of these interactions, and then we can either amplify it, or also we can also minimize some things that we things that is not something that happens anymore. So the key is to see the patterns. That's from the view of complex theory. So they see what emerged from the interaction, and then from that one we learn something that we can put, and after that we can put something to amplify that. So that's what I learned from the complex system.
One more thing, does the activity theory of Xerox also involved in that complex?
Yeah.
Yes, Xerox, yeah.
Yeah, there is also activity from the activity theory there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, this is very interesting. discussion and look back into myself. I'm a practitioner, now a lecturer, but initially a practitioner as a teacher as well at school, and also working in helping teachers by conducting different type of training for teachers. But so it's really interesting that you said, okay, so the ideas is we need to know the pattern, and then we're going to see what we can do based on that pattern. And recently, like just 1 year or 2 years back, I have a project working with teachers in Jakarta. So we really learn the pattern. We want to see the pattern and see what's going on. And what we find is like what you already present as well, that our teachers is actually conducting or joining the training because of they get the assignment to do so. So let's say the principal say, okay, you join this training here, you join training there, and they just joining. And the result is, as we guess, it's not promising and it's failure, etc. And then we design, okay, so the ideas is we need to ask the teacher, what do you need? What do you think you're lack of? So if you understand what you lack of, what do you need, we're going to provide whatever do you need. So the ideas is we're giving some kind of reflection or reflective questionnaire. We ask them, all the teachers, okay, what do you need? What do you lack of? What do you think you are not good yet? So and we provide different type of training. We ask different, we call it maybe institution who has different type of training that participate and provide that training for the teachers. But the thing that happened, each of the teachers choose different type of training, but we see the completion of the training itself, let's say 100%, we can see only less than 10% teachers complete the training. And those who complete the training, they also did not actually implement it in their class. So we see here, like the team also wondering actually what happened with our teachers. Like we really want to help. Okay, the case is they were ordered at the first place. And then the second one, all right, so we offer it to you. What do you need? We're not giving you assignment. We're going to follow what you need and we provide the training. But when we try to have an interview or things like that, there are some teachers say like, because we feel like, because we choose ourselves, so they don't feel like an obligation to do. Because if assignment like, oh, this is assignment, I need to complete it whether I understand or not. So what do you think, Pa? It seems like even the best way we try to do, the teachers is like, just maybe if I'm being very harsh, it's like hopeless. But I don't know, like maybe that's really not a good word, but that's the fact in the field. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, this one. Okay, so I think it's coming from what it reflects my last point, is that sometimes when we are the provider, or the initiator of a training, for let's say, we try to determine or direct. Okay, we try to determine that when you, for example, join this kind of trainings, and then teacher will become like this. So, and also maybe we try to direct the teachers, and that's according to complexity theory. Things like that is not gonna work. Okay. Actually, the first one is a good example of, you see the patterns, that the patterns in that particular schools, that every teacher is sent to training by the principal, is because of the principal asking them to, or send them to the training. And then you try to you see that patterns, and then you try to do some things that can, for example, let's say fix the problem, because you see the problems with only a principal sending teachers to the trainings, and that the teachers won't have, for example, a sense of ownership to that training. But another patterns emerge with the new solution that you offer. For example, okay, we try to accommodate students' need, and then everyone is free to choose some things that they feel they need. And then again, you find that even the one who, for example, attend 100% to this course does not apply what they learn into the classroom. So we need to see what patterns again emerge in this. That's why in complex system it's cyclical, and sometimes recursive. We need to go back again and then see patterns again. So it's from patterns, and then we try. It's always from the patterns, and then we come up with something at least to try, not to determine that when you do this one, you will be like this. Sounds like vicious cycles, but that's what do you think about it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's it should be like a lots of looping. So
Yes,
so
looping.
in my
That's right.
understanding, after knowing
Yes.
that, okay, we give them freedom to choose, but after they have a freedom to choose, it doesn't work. So there must be something else there.
Okay, then yeah,
then
we see what is the
another
patterns here.
iteration. Yeah.
Yeah, another iteration. Yeah, that's right. That's the recursive one.
So
So
that's our homework for next.
that's our big homework for all
Yeah.
of us here.
Big homework. Any other question from the audience participants? Or burning thought to be shared after the insight for Pa Abdul Rahman? Okay, because there are no more questions, can I have like last question, Pa, before we close the session?
Sure.
I'm really interested to ask about the recent technology that emerged. So because not necessarily because of pandemic, then everyone is shifting to the use of technology in the learning and then even in TPD as well. So in your ideas or in your opinion, how do you see the use of technology in TPD? As you know, there are many online training or many TPDs for teachers that these days emerge using the technology as the tools or the means. So according to your experience or insight about this, like the drawback or even like the benefit of technology. Thank you.
I will say that from my perspective that everything is possible to bring impact. Okay, everything is possible to be useful, but at the same time, everything also can lead back to stagnation or inertia. We are not going anywhere. Now, so it always depends. It always depends. Okay, when I say this one, the nested structure. Okay, so when we bring something, let's say technology into a system, let's say in our system or in a school, let's say in a school, and what will determine this, let's say the success or the failure of these new things, this new technology, is our understanding of in what areas, okay, our understanding of in what areas that this kind of things or this technology will work. So first, we need to understand the pattern again. Okay, again I said that one. We need to say the relation, the patterns of interaction in that system. For example, in this course, whether let's say in my three case this one, okay, in my three case this one, in case one, in school one, in my observation, every single teacher promotion developments coming to the school will be restrictive. Why? Because the school principal have attention with the teachers, with all their teachers, with all their teachers. So anything coming to this specific school, okay, will be hindered by the natures of principal and the teacher's relationship. Okay, so in this case, it's gonna be restrictive, regardless of the type of teacher professional development coming to the school, or it's very hard to find like teacher professional development initiated by the schools because of this tension. Okay, while this case C, okay, this case C, so if I compare with the case A, so it is also the nature of relationship between the principal and the teachers that enable learning here. Because the principal here is open, and the teachers here actually, let's say, because he is one of the facilitator in outside training, and then he really understands the importance of, for example, empowering their teachers. So they have a very open and relationship with his teachers. So the same things you see, relationship between teachers and principals. One same things is, one is amplifying or facilitating learning for the teachers, one is restricting. So for me, the first one, we need to have at least basic understanding of, in that system, how this actor works, how these factors influence, for example, let's say the dinas. So how is the dinas in that particular area works? That kind of understanding of knowledge is that will be very helpful to design, if you are the provider, to design teacher professional development that will likely work for the teachers.
Okay. Okay, Pak Rahman, thank you so much for all the insights. So if I can conclude, the key is actually the pattern. No matter what the system we're going to put there, what kind of TPD that we want to put, even like embedding technology into the system itself, into the training itself, really need to know the pattern, especially the actor and factors, how they interconnected to each other. Then we can decide what is best. So there is no one type of TPD best, but it's really how is the context, how is the pattern.
I agree with you.
Pak.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Abdul Rahman, for today. It's very insightful discussion from you. Or do you want to have any final remark, Pak?
Okay, so
Ibu Charina is raising her hand. We don't want to waste our time. Yeah, Bu Charina, you wanna?
Oh, I think she's clapping.
Okay.
Oh, it's clapping. Okay, if I can say something, and then I think today I'm very honored and I'm very grateful to connect with people with the same mind, and then maybe the same interest, and maybe the same what's that dreams for our teachers, because I'm coming from the perspective of whatever happens in Indonesia, whatever reforms that we try to bring into Indonesia, it's always teachers that will implement that in the classroom. So our job is to try to maybe help our governments that maybe when you are for example, providing a kind of teacher for the teachers, this is the things that you need to consider. Okay, not only because, for example, something from outside and then it works really wonderful, and then because that's wonderful in that kind of context, and then you think that it will work. I think that's our big failure. Yeah, I think that's my final comments on this topic. Okay.
Okay, thank you
But
very
again,
much, Pak Abdul Rahman.
Yes. Yep, I'm very welcome. I'm very welcome not only with this LunchTalk. Maybe we can do a kind of joint research or joint publications. It's gonna be wonderful.
Sure. Yeah, we will
Surely,
be
Pak. Yeah, we are very happy to welcome like lots of collaboration with the different institutions, with different colleagues. It's really good things for us to together help our education getting better.
And also, because you mentioned about promoting as triple IU, yeah, of course, please do, maybe after this we can talk, you propose something that you would like to, how can we can promote this university in the program, because this is indeed a research program, yeah, for the MA and PhD. So it should be more research oriented kind of curriculum that we would try to develop in our Faculty of Education.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Oh, sure.
Lovely. Okay, thank you, Bu Tati.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So this is the end of today's LunchTalk, the 5th one. Looking forward to have everyone on our 6th LunchTalk with the more interesting topics as well. Yes, Pak?
Ibu Destina, can I write down my email on the chat?
Oh, surely, yes. For Pak Wijarwardi that want to have
for
email,
anyone
maybe
here.
you're going to need it, Pak.
Yep, I'll just type it on here. Okay.
Yeah, actually, Diana also would like to have Pak Rahman's email.
Yes.
And,
okay.
And wait for our invitation. Perhaps in the future, you can have you in our one of the guest lecture. Because sometimes we invite a guest lecture in one of the courses that sometimes that's relevant to your expertise.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so take a note this email from Pak Rahman, everyone who needs to get contact with Pak Abdul Rahman for the following. Okay, so let's end this session by saying Alhamdulillah for today's session, for everyone to join. Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Pak Abdul Rahman, for the insightful talk about professional development. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.